He's washing dishes, and slowly a scowl comes over his face as he starts to think, when is she coming through that door? When is she coming through that door? She walks through the door, instant clash, instant energy going against each other. What took you so long? Why are you so angry? She says. As they start to escalate the fight, emotions get higher, and she says to him, why are you so angry? Just calm down. She says, I can't. Bring, bring, bring. The phone rings. She answers. He answers. Ah, hello, John. No, everything's great. Thank you very much. No, we're good. Yeah, amazing. Thank you very much. Yeah, and then the conversation continues. So, what's the moral of that story there? The husband got angry, and even though his wife said, calm down, he said, I can't. But as soon as the phone rang, immediately he got calm and talked in a normal voice. What's the lesson there? It's not that we can't calm down, it's that we choose not to. And that, my friends, was a story I read the other night that really helped me go, yes, it's always around us. We always do have a choice. We just make the choice not to when it comes to emotions. But ding 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 ding, another intro ding ding with Don and Identity Human Podcast. This is the world's going to be the world's most popular unproduced podcast at the time of recording this. That is my pure intention. But welcome back to the Identity Human Podcast. Once again, you are awesome for being here, and I think this is now episode number 19, and I appreciate you. Last week we spoke about, I think it was alcohol and the different challenges around it. And this week I thought, if you've been here for 19 weeks, what better than to do a recap? Because this is the point where I go, we've walked and talked through some of the mental models that I use, and we've talked about mentality, and now's the time where it could get entertaining and you could forget the stuff that you listened to a couple of weeks ago or even before. But it might be nice to just do a quick recap just before we get to episode 20 on some of the things that we spoke about previously. And I want to give you a books list. And I was writing this down. I was like, gee, I actually have listened to a lot of books. Pro tip, been listening to some Alex Hormozy stuff. And he says, if you want to learn quickly, then listen and read a book at the same time. And I was like, ooh, I'm going to try that because that makes sense. So there's lots of different ways that we can all learn. Some are feel, some are touch, some are do. So touch and feel must be the same thing. Sorry. Some are do, some are listen, some are picture. So I suppose what he's doing there is saying combine learning styles because some people are a mix. So you could combine listening with reading, so looking, and that might cement in your brain a lot quicker learns. And I'm going to try that. I just haven't done it yet. So some of the themes that we've gone through, we've spoken about alcohol, and I got some good feedback from a friend that had listened to the alcohol podcast, and they said it was really empowering. It was good to hear. It's good to listen. If you think about some of the things about challenging those around you, just what journey you're on, what stage of the journey you're on, and how to best approach it, because I think it's easy to listen to someone saying you don't need to drink. What's the point? But that person that says it might be on their own journey and they might have taken 4 or 5 years to get there. And so I suppose the reflection point is like, let's really try not compare ourselves to other people and where they're at. Just compare yourself to you, because the only person that you're truly competing against is yourself. And I know we've heard that before, but why I really like that is like when no one's watching and no one's there to hold you accountable, the only person that truly knows how you feel, how you think, what you have done, what you haven't done, what you intended to do, and what you didn't do is you. The only person that you cannot lie to is you. So, if you cannot lie to yourself, then make sure that the only person that you're truly honest with and you hold your integrity to is yourself. So, stop comparing yourself to others and just compare yourself to you. That was the main takeaway from the alcohol one. If you guys listened to that, we did speak about why alcohol is so challenging. We linked it to some identity bits, and we put in some stats there that might have helped those more logical, analytical thinkers to empower themselves on their journey. Whether you want to reduce or stop alcohol, Remember, we're not judging. It is everyone's on their own journey. If you're a drinker, that's fine. Maybe it'll help you with someone around you. Maybe it'll give you insight into if you have a friend that doesn't want to drink anymore, and you're the one that's been the bad influence or the challenging one that makes them feel uncomfortable with their journey. Maybe that's a good reflection point to be like, oh, I don't want to be that guy. I want my friends to be who they want to be, and I'll support them regardless. So there's lots of different ways to look at some of the stuff we say. Then we also, so initially we'll go back to week number one was just sleep. We spoke about the different aspects of sleep, what it's all about. And I'm going to be honest with you, this is the one that is the most challenging for me personally, because sleep's never been a big thing for me. So I've seen, there's some people that just sleep naturally and they've always slept well and they've slept disciplined, where that's something I had to really work on. And even though we know all the principle, we know the knowledge, so we know the theory behind it, it's harder to implement when you are trying to undo old habits. And that's something that I'm still trying to work on. But there's some good nuggets in there. It's very raw. It was the first episode that we ever recorded, and I've uploaded it because, like I said, we are here to show you how this journey grows from one viewer, no viewers, no followers, all the way up to the top, wherever that may end up being. And for anyone that wants to do the same thing, I'll leave the episodes there because you have to see the raw. And that's, again, that's so that if you're listening to this, you're like, I want to start one, go and listen to those. They give a nice journey, I suppose. So if you are struggling with sleep, go and listen to the sleep one. We will redo sleep at some point. I think it's going to be important to do because it is, like, let's remind ourselves of why it's so important to sleep. And I'm just trying to see if I ever redid it. And then I did episodes 14 with sleep myths and actionables. So it's there. We've done 2 episodes already on sleep. It just shows the importance of it. And it all comes into identity human. It all comes in things that we are cognitive about and the things that help us with what we do.
Are you on your podcast? Are you on your podcast yet?
Yes, I'm recording my podcast right now. So I can't undo that now. Okay, hold on. Okay, so guys, but I mean, at the end of that, you hear Ray interrupts me, and I was like, "Oh, here we go." I was recording my podcast. I'm so angry because I'm an angry, grumpy man. But it's because Laurie lost her tooth. So what we're going to do is we're going to try some production and join the 2 podcasts. So that should be fine. We'll give it a go afterwards. So we were talking about sleep and how important it was, and there's some nuggets in there. And I hope that they help. Go and listen to them, and we'll do some more actionables later on. But yes, Laurie lost her tooth, and that was that was worth the interruption. So thank you, Matt, and Jacob. So we also speak about high performance triangle. So in all seriousness, the reason I do the recap is so that I can show you guys what's important to listen to in the podcast and where I think people go wrong. And if I'm honest, it's always underappreciating, whether that's because of the way I've explained it, but they underappreciate the high performance triangle, and it's about the combinations. I've done it. I've done 2 episodes on it, if I'm not mistaken. Just go and listen to it again and just apply it to your life, because genuinely, I can't get away from this. When it comes to mindset and performance and feeling your dips and your lows, there's some things that are going to get you through, and it's not a better mindset. It's because you've got the best mindset you could ever hope for within you. It's not a better mindset. It's not trying to find happiness. It's just the high performance triangle. Just go and listen to it. Just trust me. Trust me, trust me, trust me. It's a golden thread. It's a golden thread to a lot of the things that we'll speak about. It's a golden thread to anything that you want to find answers to. Is we have to find deep. We have to go deep. Let's dig deep. Let's see the why, okay? And it's in the structures and on the mindset. Because everyone's got the mindset. They just don't know it. They don't know how to use it. And that's what the high performance triangle is trying to tell you. And it's a combination of things, not just one. It's not just structure. It's a combination. Anyway, I'm slightly passionate about it. Then we've got above the line and below the line. So we spoke about this in one of the episode 13, I think it was. And I think that's really important because it explains what that's all about and the mental recognition that it enables you to do for yourself and for your partner and those people around you. But I think also, in addition to that, it's about being able to see how different contexts you're above the line and below the line, and how many different scenarios you can get yourself above the line on. So, for instance, you could be above the line at work because you feel really happy at work or it's going well, but then you come home and you're having arguments with your missus, or your kids are annoying you, or your friends are annoying you, or whatever reasons, though, you'll be below the line. So it's about recognizing the above the line states, the below the line states, and how you can get yourself above the line when you're below the line. So the way I'd probably say it is like modernize your brain, okay? Because the below the line is that it is that ancient brain, it's the chimp one. It's the anger, it's the things like, why am I angry? I don't even know why I'm angry, but I'm angry. So let's try and make sure we recognize above the line and below the line, and just ask ourselves that question: where am I? Or get your friends to ask you where are you when you're grumpy, or get your partner, especially, get them on board. And once you listen to that episode, once you understand the concept of it, it becomes a lot easier to apply. Because if you don't know what it's all about and some of the background to it, it won't empower you. And that's one thing I've learned is like why I give people the foundations in this podcast is because without the foundations, you can't really empower yourself. You just like the idea of something. It just sounds cool. But when you understand it, that's when it can empower you. Um, then we did speak about personality traits and energy states, and that rhymes, and I didn't even realize, or maybe I did, and I just forget that I'm a lyrical genius in a sentence or two. But just to recap, this is kind of around self awareness and knowing yourself, and why I linked it with energy states is because if you know your strengths, you know what gives you energy, you kind of know your purpose. That kind of helps you align. So it's all like for me, it's like a lot of life comes down to alignment with who you are inside and outside, alignment with purpose, alignment with the things that give you energy. And if you know your personality traits, if you know your style, if you know the way your brain works, that's going to allow you to start to sift out the things that are not doing you a service. And I had a good not interview, a good session with someone the other day, and he said, try and identify when you're doing things that make you feel weak. And when they make you feel weak, those things, they don't align. And you've really got to like become intuitive to your gut. You've got to become intuitive to how your energy states is. You're going to become intuitive, like what's feeding you energy. When you feel weak, when you feel things are sucking your energy, understand that those things are no good for you. And you've got to try and mitigate the touch points with those environments. And it's about knowing who you are, what you're about, and making sure that you are bringing the things that give you energy, the things that you love doing into your life. And you do that by understanding your personality. Obviously, we offer this as a service, but this is not advertising. This is just why I'm passionate about it, why I know about it. But there's obviously lots of different ways you can go about it. Any personality test is good for self-awareness, but don't also box yourself in. Like there are some that'll box you in and say you're an introvert, extrovert. And I'm like, a good thing is like I think we have both within us. It's just some are more preferable at certain times than others, and I think it also has to do with the mental state of mind. We can get deep into introvert, extrovert, but I'm not here to challenge anyone on that. I think it's just like do yourself a favor and realize how awesome you all are. We all are, and we're not put on this life to be an extrovert or an introvert all the time. You actually might enjoy being around people, or you might enjoy just being on your own from time to time, regardless of whether you're labeled an extrovert or introvert. And don't think that it's like that all the time. I think it's like a state of mind. So it's a think. It's a think from my side, by the way. We spoke about the consistency model, which remember, it also is like it's your goal achiever model. If you're not achieving anything in life, then go through this one. And I think that was episode number 8. If you want to go have a listen to that. And it's just about like where can you assess? And you think about high performance triangle here. This is why it's the golden tool. It's going to show you some structures. Where can you assess where you might be going wrong in achieving whatever goal it is you want to achieve? And I've recently twigged in my mind that like everything for me revolves around pendulum. The middle of the pendulum, where that's the middle of the swing is alignment. That's where you want to be. And life makes that pendulum swing way left and way right. And the more aware you are, the more you can make sure that swing isn't as big. And you can choose when you want it to go way left and when you want it to go way right. And I'm going to develop that symbolism. I'm going to develop that analogy as time goes on because I think I really like it. It kind of works for me. It works in a lot of things that we are doing. So go and listen to episode 8 if you're lacking consistency or if you're not achieving the goals at the moment, and see what comes out of it. If it doesn't quite hit the spot, please leave a comment there and just say this is what I'm struggling with. This is what I thought it would help me with, but it didn't. Because the more comments I get, the more I can read, and the more I can actually put my episodes towards helping those that are listening. I think that's really important. Is I want to try and make sure that we're giving back to exactly what's needed. And then I also did a couple of episodes on what we can control. So I talked about the 3 circles model of what you can't control, what you can influence, and what you can control. And it essentially all comes down to the mind. The only thing that we can truly control is what's in our mind. And yes, you can control it. Yes, you do have a choice, even though you think you don't. It's just the problem is the people around you or things you've read or your thoughts have led you to believe that you don't have a choice, and that's just the way things are. We always have a choice. It's just sometimes that choice is hard, that choice sucks, or that choice only reaps rewards long in the future, and we can't really tell when, where, or how. So it's about being able to have faith. It's about realizing what you can influence and how you can take action steps. We also then spoke about comfort zone and panic zone, just how far you're stretching yourself. If you're stretching yourself or others around you too far, you're going to be stretching them way out of their comfort zone into their panic zone. And when you put people into panic zone, their comfort zone shrinks and they want to go back to that. So it's just about, again, pendulum, being able to find the right balance, being able to find that midpoint and making sure you stick there. Right, so that's just a quick, brief overview of some of the things that we've spoken about. I hope that those are good reminders. If you've missed those episodes or if you've listened to them, go and listen to them again and put some comments on them. Just give some feedback so that we know exactly how to deal with those. Some of the feedback we've had is the alcohol and challenge one. Someone that was going through stuff like that, they said that really hit home and really helped them. I appreciate you telling me. The identity and purpose one. So we did speak about an identity model. And I think that one's the most powerful one if we can really get our heads around it. And they mentioned about, Viktor Frankl and man's purpose, man's search for meaning. And because I spoke about purpose and choice and how we can rejig, pain and trauma and look at it in a different way. And she literally used a practical application of that someone had lost their partner. And she said, there's the story I heard in the podcast, and this is what they said. And that lady said it just changed that person's point of view, like almost instantly. And it was just came at the right time. I was like, it's so good to hear a practical application comes out of this and it's making a difference. And then I wanted to end off with just giving some book recommendations, right? So some of the books, I'll talk through them that I've listened to, and I haven't got to the end of my list, but I thought, sometimes practical applications, things that we've listened to, let's go listen to them again. Let's talk about these is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho is such a good book for me because it's a storytelling book, but it's got a lot of meanings, and they explain the meanings at the end, and I really like it. The Universal Language. High Performance Triangle kind of, for me, is the universal language. It allows me to simplify things and see how things are working, looking at the structures and how they tie in, and. But I'd recommend reading, or listening to The Alchemist if you haven't already. It took me about 4 years from when it was first recommended to actually listen to it. I was like, I wish I'd listened to it sooner. Obviously, Man's Search for Meaning, for me, by Viktor Frankl, is brilliant. So he is obviously a psychotherapist that went to the gas chamber. Well, he didn't go into an actual gas chamber, but he was in the prison camps during World War II. And it's a story retelling his journey, his point of view, but obviously with the psychotherapist's head on. So it's very interesting. It goes into the human mind. Then The Chimp Paradox, for me, really good, by Prof. Steve Peters. I think that one gives a real good insight into our mind and our brain. And anyone that is in a performance environment, and I mean, that could be parents, it could be anyone that's got a lot going on. I think a book called Peak Mind by Amish Jha was really good for me. The one analogy I took out of that was, in our mind, we've got this whiteboard, and we fill it up on day to day. And if you don't do things like mindfulness and just like proper sleep and different things around the brain, that whiteboard never gets empty. So you start to hold on to a lot, and that's where you start to forget things and become impatient and. So it's about being able to wipe that whiteboard clean as often as possible, so you have a good, the RAM, the working memory that your brain needs, because you don't want that thing full. So take a listen to that book if you are struggling with anything like that. Then Building a Second Brain kind of goes in with Peak Mind because it allows you to get that things off your whiteboard onto a piece of paper so that you can remember at a later date. And they just give a really good action points on how you can actually build a second brain. Second brain is essentially a notebook, notepad, somewhere where you can jot your thoughts down in an orderly fashion. And they break it down to current projects, areas that you're looking at, It's quite well written, well explained. Then a big one that I think all of society should actually listen to, read, be taught is Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. He believed that the best way to get things done was to create win-wins through nonviolent communication. So you can't use force, you can't use power. You have to make sure that we understand everyone's point of view, and we have to be able to identify needs that are not being met and not really worry about trying to deal emotion with emotion. So kind of like above the line, below the line kind of principles in there. And I really like that. And I'd highly recommend for anyone that's a friend, a parent, a son, a daughter, in work, in leadership, nonviolent communication is a real good way for you to like structure up things that you're looking at so that you can get better outcomes for yourself and anyone involved. And then I'm probably going to put one more here. Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey. I really enjoyed that book. Good stories, good lessons from it, and Matthew's just a great guy, isn't he? Like he's just cool. He is someone that I'll just be like, yeah, I consider him cool. Right, so I hope that those books kind of help give you insight that you haven't listened before. They give you a nudge of things that you are supposed to have listened to. And that's going to bring us to the end of today's episodes. A nice recap, some books to go and listen to. If you have any comments, please do leave comments or questions in whichever episode it relates to. I would appreciate that because it gives me some insight into what you guys are listening to, what's really sticking out, and which direction we can take it. And I'll hopefully be looking to get some guests on soon. I just have to be more proactive. And I kind of just enjoy talking sometimes, like not having to plan, not having to do too much production. It's quite easy. And that the point is we need to make sure we're getting episodes done, building the momentum, building up the mental set points, all the things that come with it. So if you're still with us and you've listened to all the way to the end, I really appreciate you. Remember, Ubuntu, we are who we are through others, but don't give away your bricks. So I will look after me for you, and you look after you for me. Until next episode, thank you for listening. Have a great day, and you're awesome.